largest economy in the world, the role of higher education in shaping this trajectory cannot be overstated. The implementation of the National Education Policy 2020 provides us with a unique opportunity to transform India's higher education landscape. It's a policy that is not merely reformative, but transformative. It is designed to empower our youth with the required skills, knowledge, and adaptability required to thrive in the 21st century. Investing in people through quality education, research, and innovation is central to realizing our country's vision of a self-reliant, inclusive, and globally competitive economy. Friends, you know that the strength of our nation lies in its diversity. As we progress towards becoming a global economic powerhouse, we must ensure that no section of society is left behind. Our universities and institutions must serve as engines of social mobility, unlocking the potential of youth from socially and economically disadvantaged backgrounds. Rural India, with its immense talent, needs to be seamlessly integrated into our higher educational framework. Friends, I would like to highlight some of the transformations that have taken place in higher education since 2014, and more specifically, after the launching of the National Education Policy in our country. There has been a huge expansion of our higher educational institutions across the country since 2014, especially in the centrally funded institutions. If you look at the number in 2014, we had 115 institutions, but today the number of centrally funded institutions are 157. We have added during last 10 years 42 institutions across the country, and as a result of that, and also because there are so many universities which have been set up across the country, and today we have nearly 1,200 universities and more than 55,000 colleges across the country. There is also a rapid expansion of the induction of faculty into these educational institutions. In 2022-23, we have the total number of faculty in our higher educational institutions exceeding 16 lakhs. And what is notable here is that the number of female faculty members has seen an impressive growth of close to about 29.1%, underscoring the fact that the workforce inclusion in the higher educational institutions is inclusive. And alongside, there is also an increase in the number of students who are enrolled in our higher educational institutions. In 2014, we had about 3.42 crore students in our higher educational institutions, but today it is exceeding 4.5 crores. And that is a tremendous increase in terms of the number of students who are joining the higher education field. And this is also reflected in our GER. The GER in 2022-23 has reached 29.5%, and as compared to 23.7 in 2014 and 15. This is a tremendous growth in GER, especially the female GER has reached 30.2% as compared to the male GER. And when you look at the students who are coming from the socially and economically disadvantaged backgrounds, there is a significant increase in the enrollment of the students coming from the SC category. It has grown by nearly 50.1% during the last 10 years. And the SC female enrollment also has gone up significantly, reaching about 61.2% enrollment. A similar increase is seen among the students who are coming from the scheduled tribes category. Their numbers have increased by 75% during the last 10 years. And also in the case of the ST female enrollment, there is an exceptional increase of 96.3%. Friends, the higher education system is becoming very inclusive, with more number of students getting into the higher educational institutions from the socially and economically disadvantaged groups and from the rural background. And it is also important to ensure that when more institutions are coming into the higher education sector and more students are joining, it becomes our responsibility to enhance the quality of the education that we are providing. And in terms of the number of institutions which are coming for the accreditation, there has been a lot of increase there also as compared to 2015. Today we can say that nearly 57.1% increase is there in terms of the accreditation. And as you know, recently we have also brought in a lot of reforms in the accreditation process, introducing the basic accreditation and the maturity level accreditation. And we are reaching out to many more institutions to come into the ambit of the accreditation. And this is also reflected. The increase in the quality of the academic programs and the research ecosystem is also reflected in the global recognition that our institutions are receiving. Today, a large number of institutions are now getting into the world rankings, and similarly, many more institutions are getting into our own country's national institutional ranking framework. It's very important for us to strengthen the research ecosystem in our country. Across the higher educational landscape, a large number of institutions have established the R&D cells, and that has reflected in terms of the publications that are coming out of our higher educational institutions. And also, if you look at the Global Innovation Index, India has climbed up from the 76th position in 2014 to 39th position in 2024. And you might have already heard about the establishment of the One Nation and One Subscription, which will provide access to nearly 13,000 e-journals to about 1.8 crores users from across the higher education landscape, from 6,300 higher educational institutions. Friends, reaching out to a large number of students using digital technologies through online platforms is also important. Today, our SWAYAM platforms and the SWAYAM Plus platform is reaching out to a large number of students. Currently, we have close to 4.6 enrollments in these programs. The online education and ODL also is playing an important role. We have more than 100 institutions offering ODL and online. Providing experiential learning to our students is important. So the role of providing internships and apprenticeships is well recognized, both through the AICT's internship portal and other government internship portal. We are reaching out to lakhs of students and thousands of educational institutions. One important aspect that has happened during the last 10 years is the inclusion of the Indian knowledge systems as part of our higher education. UGC has already trained 1,000 faculty members, including integrating IKS in the regular teaching programs. And in the next stage, we are planning to train about 10,000 teachers. Promoting our Indian languages in higher education and promoting multilingualism is also a top priority as part of our NEP implementation. And as you know, in JEE, NEET, and CUET, we conduct the test in 13 regional languages. And there is an increased budget allocation also for higher education. And there are newer schemes such as the PM Vidya Lakshmi scheme, and there are other schemes which are looking at removing the financial barriers and provide better access to our students. So there are many other schemes that we are launching to provide experiential learning to the students, such as institutional innovation councils, the idea labs, and providing training to the teachers through the Malavia Mission Teaching Training Program. We have already trained more than 1.5 lakh teachers, and we are reaching out to 15 to 16 lakh teachers across the country. And for providing research funding, we now have the Ansandhan National Research Foundation. Friends, to conclude, it is important for all of us to recognize that we have a collective responsibility to make education a tool for empowerment, not just a privilege for a few. When we invest in our people, we are investing in the future of India. The future of India is being shaped in our classrooms, our laboratories, and our institutions. Let us invest wisely and inclusively so that we may build a stronger, more resilient, and innovative India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Jagdish Kumar ji. अब मैं श्री संजय कुमार सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्कूल एजुकेशन एंड लिटरेसी को अपने विचार प्रकट करने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं सर.
Thank you, Vinitji. We have a brief presentation before you. And, education is all about investing in people. And the UGC chairman has already given a broad snapshot of what the higher education scenario is looking like. This year in the budget speech 25-26, the Honorable Finance Minister has made 2 announcements. 50,000 Atal Tinkering Labs will be set up in government schools in the next 5 years. And each of the government schools in the rural areas will be given a broadband internet connectivity. Now, what has made this possible? And I think what has made this possible is the relentless and the concerted effort which has taken place in the Department of School Education and Literacy across the country in the last 10 years. And on that crest, this innovation of Atal Tinkering Lab is going to ride. Next, please. So this is what the brief snapshot of India's education system is, which I would say is perhaps one of the most complex education system in the world. So we have 14.72 lakh schools, to which 24.8 crore children are going and are being taught by more than 98 lakh teachers. Next, please. So how does it look like? Over the years, in the last decade, our PTR across primary, upper primary, secondary, and higher secondary has improved appreciably. And if you look at in the last 10 years, 46.52 lakh teachers have been recruited, of which 61% are women. And not to be outdone, 5.8 lakh non-teaching staff have also been recruited to make life for the teachers a little easier while they are working in the schools. Next, please. This is the qualitative improvement we have seen in the last 10 years. So if you look at the number of boys and girls who have passed class 10 board and class 12th board with more than 60% marks, which can be a standard for the kind of learning outcome improvement which we are seeing in the school. So you will see it appreciably. 2013 to 23, in class 10, we have moved up from 58.1 to 95.5%. But what is more interesting for both class 10th and 12th is that girls have had a much larger improvement as compared to the boys. Our gender parity index in our schools is almost more than 1. Girls are outnumbering boys marginally in all levels of schooling, and also in learning outcomes, they are showing that they have the wherewithal to do well. That means we are reaching out to boys, girls in the schools, and the learning outcomes are improving. Next. This is again how the infrastructure and other parameters have improved in the last 10 years. So our GR across different educational structure has gone up. And if you look at the right-hand side, we find that in the basic infrastructural requirement in our schools, we are almost very close to saturation. In fact, we've been working with all the states so as to ensure that in the basic infrastructure, we are able to show absolute saturation. So if you look at electricity, 60 to 91.8%, and this is what is going to make Atal Tinkering Lab and internet connectivity workable now that we have this kind of an infrastructure in our schools. And if you look at computer and internet, we will see a remarkable progress in the last 10 years. Availability of computer has gone up to 57.2, almost more than doubled. And the case for internet has gone from 8.1 to 53.9. So, and again, this year we do hope that we saturate it at least for all the government secondary schools. Next, please. And what has made this possible? I think sustained investment has made this possible. So the average per capita student expenditure has gone up from 10,780 to 25,043 in 21-22, an appreciable increase of 130%. Next. We want that each and every child should be part of school and no child should be out of the schooling system. So if you look at the NSS data and if you see what is the scenario for the never enrolled children, we see an appreciable drop in the 6 to 14 years as well as 14 to 18 years age gap. And so larger number of children are in school. I do admit that some are still out and our endeavor shall be to bring them back to school. Next. This is with respect to children who got enrolled but somehow dropped out of school. And here also we see that there has been a appreciable, remarkable improvement in the age group of 6 to 14 as well as 14 to 18. So children who have never been part of schooling system, they are in school. The ones who enrolled and dropped out, they are coming back to school, and both the numbers are decreasing as evidenced by the NSO data of 2024. Next. Again, what is happening to our expected years of schooling? This is a very broad indicator which goes as a component in the Human Development Index. And when a child is born, the number of years he or she can be expected to have during their lifetime. And this also includes higher education. So in 2013, it used to be 11.81 years. Today it has gone up to 13.28. And research shows that every additional year of schooling adds 0.37% to the GDP. So good schooling is also adding to the economy of the country. Next, please. And this is again to develop a passion for mean years of schooling. Mean year schooling is defined as the number of years of schooling availed by that cohort of the population which is more than 25 years of age. And this comes from the NSS data. And again, you will find that in the last 10 years, our mean years of schooling has improved from 5.4 to 7.5. But again, coming back to my earlier reiteration that women have seen a larger increase as compared to male. Next, please. So, and the third definition is which comes from the SDG 4 is that what is the youth literacy? And the youth is defined as 15 to 29. We are almost in the late 90s, very close to 100. And we do hope that by the year 2030, India will be able to achieve the youth literacy of 100%. Next. So one of the another salient points of education is that we should have absolute inclusion. And when we are looking at inclusion, we are looking at the learning outcomes for children who are part of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. And this data gives us the percentage of girls from scheduled caste who passed in class 10 and for SC as well as ST. And again, you can see that more number of girls are passing in class 10. Next. Similar position for class 12. That the SC girls and ST girls, they are doing extremely well and are showing improvement in class 12 board examinations also. Next, please. And this is a slide to which I come back once again, is that over the years, what we have seen in the last 10 years is that there has been a feminization of school teachers. So in 2014-15, we had 52% male teachers and 46% women. Today, the whole figure has reversed. So now today we have 52% female teachers and we have 48% of male teachers. So feminization of teaching is taking place. In a manner of speaking, this does augur well for all of us. Next. Again, advancing our school, better infrastructure. We are doing better in terms of availability of drinking water, hand wash, girls' toilet, boys' toilet, and this is what is making possible the availability of students in our schools. Next. Same for electricity, playgrounds, and library facilities. And I am very happy to say that last year we introduced the National Digital Library as a part of the FM's announcement, and we do hope that this is going to give 24/7 facility to all our students. Next. So we are going to build our future together, more inclusive for even CWSN. So handrails, access-free barriers in all our schools, again it is increasing. We do need to pay a little more attention and saturate it. Next. And again, internet availability has gone up, computer availability has gone up, and this year we are working with all the states so as to ensure that all the government secondary schools are enabled with internet connection as well as computers availability. Next. This is the last slide, which goes on to show the broad picture that in India, the public expenditure on education is 4.64, and this is the way we look across other countries. We do hope that we are inching towards what 6% of public expenditure, which is what the national education policy mandates. So based on all these things, we do hope that in due course of time, the Department of School Education and Literacy will be able to ensure that every child is part of school, GR goes up to 100% by the year 2030, and with effective learning outcomes for one and all. Thank you.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. अब मैं सेक्रेटरी स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप श्री अतुल कुमार तिवारी जी को अनुरोध करूंगा कि वे आज के विषय पर अपने विचार रखना चाहें.
Good morning to everyone. Secretary Higher Education, my fellow secretaries, Professor Jagdish Kumar, Dr. Paul, Professor Bide, Professor Gupta, and all others who are in this webinar today. If India's demographic dividend is our biggest assets, then the investing in people through the skill development is the one key driver for unlocking India's full potential. In the Union Budget 2025-26 also, emphasizing Sabka Vikas, there was also focus made on the Garib, Yuva, Annadata, and Nari. Ever since this ministry was constituted in 2014, we have done significant reforms leading to standardization, integration, unification, convergence, expansion, leveraging the digital platforms and AI, global mobility, doing work for entrepreneurship for the disadvantaged group, new age courses, and in general, I would say that the skilling ecosystem has developed and is ready for its next phase of growth and in alignment with the industry. Just to give a brief idea about what has been done in the last 10 years, I would say that the first thing has been the standardization. The earlier the things were very fragmented. Now they have been brought together, whether it is our regulator in terms of NCVT, National Skill Qualification Framework, dual system of training, job roles with clear pathways, flexi MOUs, new industry partnerships, sector skill councils, recognition of prior learning, and all that. We have also gone around and done a lot of convergence of the institutions and convergence of the schemes. And now we are in a position, after doing this standardization, to align with the different departments and ministries in their skilling work, which I will also mention as I go by. Under the National Education Policy also, which is a momentous document and a framework, that a lot of work has happened in terms of bringing skilling and education together, whether in terms of the academic bank of credits, whether, as the Professor Jagdish Kumar said, about UGC and other higher education institutions allowing for the 50% credits in their degree programs to be skill-based courses, using the APAR credit frameworks and the skilling pathways which have come by broad education and skilling closure. We also have the Skill India Digital Hub, which has the comprehensive digital platform, which integrates training, certifications, and job matching. And tremendous progress has happened because it allows for 24/7 access to skilling through the online blended learning, AR/VR technologies, and multimedia education. It also has integrated with the DigiLockers, eShram, PM Gati Shakti, so as to enhance the job mobility. We have seen the expansion of skilling institutions since 2014 in terms of the ITIs, which number have increased from 44% to almost 14,619. We have seen a massive growth in the skilling centers, whether it is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras or skilling into educational and higher education institutions. The apprenticeship program has been enhanced, offering more opportunities for practical skill acquisition. Just to give a few numbers, over 3 crore youth have been skilled in the past decades, including 40.4 lakh apprentices have been trained under the National Apprenticeship Scheme. Short-term training has happened along with the JSS around 1.93 crore candidates. 536 future job qualifications have been introduced in areas like AI, drone technology, 5G, and green hydrogen. We have 289 JSS. We have trained almost 30 lakh people. We have linked the JSS with the Ullas scheme of the Education Department, PM Janman of the Tribal Welfare Department, and vibrant village programs as well. We have started industry partnerships through sector skill councils and dual system of training. We have done partnership with leading firms like Dassault, Samsung, Microsoft, IBM, and Google. And the flexible MUs have also provided a very good opportunity for our youth to get skilled. In order to make the skill aspiration, which is also one of the key initiatives, we have done this Kaushal Mahotsava events when the ITI and other skilled graduates are conferred their degree certificates. The credit-based equivalence between education and vocational training has also further enhanced its appeal. Along with the Education Ministry, we are also honoring our teachers on their Teachers' Day. We have, in the global skills also, India has improved its position from 39th position in 2011 to 13th in 2024 with multiple medal wins. And we have also found that the enrollment in short-term training programs, apprenticeship, and ITI admissions have seen substantial growth, demonstrating improved employability outcomes of the skilling programs. India also has an aspiration of becoming the world skill capital, and it is in this regard that the formal frameworks for international skill-based mobility have been established through G2G and B2B agreements. The global demand for 3.7 million skilled workers have been identified in around 16 countries, and we are around 60,000 candidates have been sent under B2B and almost 9,000 to Israel and Japan. And we also started training in occupational English, German, Japanese, and Finnish to enhance that. If you talk about promoting traditional and emerging sectors, the PM Vishwakarma, we have already trained almost 20 lakh people. We have aligned with the One District, One program. We are aligned with the PM Janman schemes. And even for the Agniveers also, we have done a tremendous path-breaking work along with the army establishments, in a sense that the Agniveers, they will receive 2 skill certifications upon their service completion. We have already 52,000 army veterans will be trained under the PMKY on civilian jobs. 20 defense institutions have been recognized as awarding bodies for industry-linked learning. And it is in this context that the budget in 24-25 and 25-26 has given us an emphasis on the skilling, labor and employment and skilling. As you are aware that under budget 2024-25, the announcement was made for an outcome-based approach for having 1,000 hub and spoke ITIs, and we are in the final stages of its design, which will include infrastructure development along with decentralization and deregulation and governance reforms. As India strives towards Viksit Bharat 2047, strengthening the skilling ecosystem, especially through skilling in manufacturing will be crucial. It is in this regard that taking into account the success of industries like electronics, semiconductors, automobiles, pharmaceuticals, etc., and the need for a globally competitive workforce, that the creation of 5 Center of Excellence for Skilling has been announced in Budget 25-26, which builds upon the previous year's announcement of under the new National IT Upgradation Scheme of 1,000 ITIs. It is here that the Make in India, it is also noteworthy that this budget announcement also coincides with 10 years of transformative journey through Make of India initiative, which have seen significant process in manufacturing, increased investments and job creation. It is our vision that the Center of Excellence will be housed in the National Skilling Training Institutes, which provide the vocational training for ITIs, industry supervisors. And we have also taken note of the global examples of China, South Korea, Brazil, and Singapore, and Germany, and how they have led to Center of Excellences. And it will also allow us to do the upgrading the existing courses and introduce sector-specific curricula with multiple entry and exit options. So, sir, in the afternoon session, we will be engaging with our stakeholders in trying to get their ideas on 4 items. One will be the defining roles and responsibilities of government, industry, and global institutions. Second will be how do we ensure collaboration mechanism between the stakeholders, and how do we integrate seamlessly industry participation in curriculum design and training delivery, as well as the structured framework for training instructors, incorporating continuous learning programs, certification mechanisms, and incentives to attract and retain skilled trainers. It is with this that initiatives that India can build a world-class skilling ecosystem, ensuring that the workforce is well prepared for both domestic and global opportunities, ultimately reinforcing its position as the skill capital of the world. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. अब मैं नीति आयोग के सदस्य डॉक्टर वीके पॉल से अनुरोध करना चाहूंगा कि वे आज के विषय पर अपने विचार साझा करें.
नमस्कार, respected Secretary Health, esteemed Secretary colleagues, friends. I like to start with highlighting the achievements and the activities of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and indeed the health sector of India. Good news is that for our very core SDG, health-related SDG goals, we are on track. Under 5 mortality rate of less than 25, which is the SDG goal, is already achieved in 11 states, and we are on track to have it for our entire nation. Neonatal mortality rate of 112 already achieved in 6 states, and 2 or 3 are at the verge of this. We will achieve that as well. And the difficult SDG of maternal mortality ratio under 75, again we are on track. And we already have this achievement logged in 18 states and union territories. Happy to state that in the course of the last 4 to 5 years, India is building a strong foundation of primary health care. Primary health care is the most important layer of the health system. 174,000 Ayushman Arogya Mandirs, the health and wellness centers, have been commissioned. 140,000 new mid-level providers. It's a silent revolution. 140,000 new mid-level providers have been put in place. Telehealth is available in all these centers, and more than 100 drugs are available free of cost. I believe this is the most important initiative that India is now undertaking, because primary care looks after 85% or more of the health conditions and also saves money. Under Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, 55 crore people are accessing health insurance for secondary and tertiary conditions for 5 lakh rupees in our country. We have now added the entire population of above 70 years to be eligible for this benefit, adding this benefit additionally to 6 crore more people. Every day, 30 to 35,000 admissions take place under this program. Not surprisingly, the out-of-pocket expenditure as a proportion of total health expenditure has declined significantly. Between 2013-14 and 21-22, we have moved from 63% to 39%, and the trends are being maintained. And this is also coming from free dialysis scheme, free ambulance scheme, and the system of Jan Aushadhi, which imparts opportunity for less expensive generic medicines. Happy to state that under the National Health Mission, human resources are very important and a quiet revolution that's being rolled out. Between 2013-14 and now, from 1.8 lakh human resources under the mission, today we have 4.7 lakh, which is 2.5 times escalation during this period. We are pushing high standard through IPHS and QAS system, which are the standards applying to the public health facilities. Under the Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, 23 crore Indians now have a health identity and a card which will be used for layering the health records. Under eSanjeevani, every day, 250,000 teleconsultations are taken across our country. But preparing for the pandemic under PM Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, a huge infrastructure is being built. For instance, we are pitching for critical care blocks and critical care facilities in all the district hospitals and larger hospitals. This will need more than 35,000 beds. Simultaneously, 15,000 pediatric care beds are also being added, and each bed, incidentally, brings about jobs for about 3 people, 3 persons each. Let's not forget what we achieved in the COVID-19 pandemic, immunizing 2.2 billion doses, starting 2.2 billion doses across our nation and universalizing this adult vaccination. In the course of the 4 to 5 years, we have the opportunity to eliminate, and we shall, together with all the stakeholders and with the power of the people of India, we shall eliminate the following diseases from the face of India: Kala-Azar, tuberculosis, leprosy, lymphatic filariasis, measles, and rubella. And very recently, we have eliminated trachoma. Our sickle cell screening target of 7 crore individuals across 11 states is moving rapidly. We already have covered 78% of them. Let me now briefly touch upon the two budget announcements that have been made by the Honorable Finance Minister. These two announcements relate to enhancing the scope of medical education and strengthening cancer care. Next one, please. The Honorable Finance Minister announced that in the next year, 10,000 additional UG, PG medical seats will be added in medical colleges towards the goal of adding 75,000 seats in 5 years, which was the call the Honorable Prime Minister gave on the Independence Day last year. Next, the context is very simple. India has a doctor population ratio of 1 for 834, including Ayush doctors. Developed nations have this ratio to the tune of 3 per 1,000. There is an acute shortage in the public health system as well as also in the private health system. And there are more phenomenally high number of aspirants for undergraduate and postgraduate opportunities in medical education. Therefore, it is imperative that for meeting the aspirations of the youth, but also very importantly, to strengthen the healthcare system that reaches the benchmark of developed nations, we enhance the opportunities for medical education. And we have done very well in this regard. Next one, please. The medical college number has increased, has become double, 102% increase. We moved from 387 medical colleges 10 years ago to 780. And we now have more government medical colleges than private medical colleges, and that enhances the affordability for the students. Expansion of the AMS system is underlined by the fact that 22 new AMSs have been sanctioned and 18 of them are operational. Next one, please. We would also like to emphasize here that a phenomenal increase in the existing number of undergraduate and postgraduate seats are undertaken. These seats have seen 130% and 135% enhancement respectively since 2013-14. 52,000 seats, UG seats are now in 2013-14 are now 118,000 seats. And in terms of PG seats, 52,000 seats are now have been escalated to close to 75,000 seats, giving opportunities for training. Next one, please. Two important schemes, one for the undergraduate program and one for the PG program, have played an important role in this area. Next one, please. A very special scheme has been to upgrade our district and referral hospitals into medical colleges. Very happy to state here that 157 medical colleges under this scheme have been approved, and 131 of them are already functional. And to get the best out of this resource, the government is working on co-locating nursing colleges in each one of these 157 medical colleges. There is a lovely Zora Medical College, Mizoram, which I had the opportunity to visit just about a week ago. Beautiful facilities are coming up. A vibrant ecosystem in medical education is building up. Next. We are working on regulatory reforms at a feverish pitch. The big reform has been the institution of the National Medical Commission that replaced the erstwhile Medical Council of India. But taking the opportunity of the new act, we have rationalized minimum standard requirements to make them more liberal without compromising quality. We have introduced a new curriculum. Teachers' eligibility qualifications have been improved. A national medical registry is being launched. New diploma courses through the pathway of National Board of Examinations at district hospitals has been instituted. A lot more is happening, and we expect the pace of reform will continue into future. Next one. District residency program is a special program which links the public health system with the medical education system. All postgraduate students, all postgraduate residents belonging to any specialty in the second year of their training out of the 3 years are now being posted for a period of 3 months at district level hospitals. What does it give? A real life experience for learning and practical skills embracement. But equally importantly, this enhances the strength, the capability of the district health system, the district hospitals. These students, which are already, they have a 1-year experience in the specialty, work as team with a specialist in the district hospitals and improve the care. And it also brings in continuum of care. This is a unique program which is bringing an interface between the public health system and medical education. Next. E-learning resources are being used increasingly in medical education and pushing the frontier further. Next one. We are now also, using the power of AI for medical education and research through initiatives as COE in AI in healthcare at three of our prime institutions, as also using AI-driven simulation skill labs. Next one. Very briefly, I now like to highlight the components of the daycare centers, daycare cancer center announcement that the Honorable Finance Minister made. There is a rising burden of cancer in the country. 1.46 million new cancer cases are registered, are noticed every year. Sadly, a lot of them are diagnosed late, and this has to change. Next one. Already, the country, the nation, is laying emphasis on screening and early detection. A nationwide screening on 3 important cancers is undertaken. Under this, 26 crore screening, 26 crore people have been screened for oral cancer, 14 crore for breast cancer, and 9 crore for cancer cervix. We have established state cancer institutes, 19 of them. Tertiary cancer care centers have been established, 20 of them, and then there's an Apex National Cancer Institute at AIIMS Delhi. Daycare cancer centers have already been established in 372 districts, and we will now pitch at improving them further. Likewise, district and CSC NCD clinics are running, and huge efforts on capacity development and awareness generation are being instituted. Next. In order to provide financial coverage for cancer care, Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana has multiple care packages. There is also the Health Minister's Cancer Patient Fund. And of course, access to cancer medicines at affordable cost is being also instituted through the Jan Aushadhi Kendra system, through Amrit pharmacies, as well as through the pathway of reduced customs duty and GST reductions for selected cancer drugs. In the announcement that has been made, the government will facilitate setting up of daycare cancer centers in all the districts in the next 3 years. And importantly, 200 of these shall be established in this financial year. So we will establish 200 new centers. We will build and strengthen the 372 that already exist and systematically achieve the saturation level of 1 DCC per district within the next 3 years. Next one, please. What would this center entail? This will be a 4 to 6 bedded unit for chemotherapy, for follow-up care, for supportive care, and for counseling. 2, there will be provision for additional equipment, medicines, disposables, and training will be instituted to the teams in the district hospitals. Treatment plans will be instituted by the tertiary care system, the state cancer institutes, and the INIs. Same-day treatment model will be followed to save on stress and financial burden. Linkages with Ayushman Arogya Mandal, that is the primary healthcare system, as well as the tertiary system, the state cancer institutes will be established. And we shall optimally use telemedicine and teleoncology to create these connections. Thank you very much. These are very aspirational and game-changing budget announcements and programs. We all will make a success of this and create a healthcare system of India that befits the standards of developed nations before 2047, the 100th anniversary of India's independence. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर वी के पॉल. अब मैं प्रोफेसर अमिता भिडे को मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स की ओर से विचार रखने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं. Professor Bhide is a professor at the Center for Urban Policy and Governance in the School of
You are entering the meeting now.
Panelists who are part of the webinar as well, beginning with Professor Jagdish Kumar, the secretaries of the various departments, Professor Gupta and Professor V.K. Paul, and so on. Okay. I think when we think about urbanization itself and the role of Mahua is located right at the forefront of facing a huge opportunity as well as a challenge. The opportunity called urbanization, which is now an emerging reality, a huge transformation from when we became independent. We were really called rural India. We were predominantly rural, and now we are at a stage where we are transitioning to urban India. This gives us multiple opportunities, economic opportunities, and also to ensure that and determine for the world what is sustainable urbanization. Okay? But it also presents a lot of challenges in the form of a significant amount of people, more than 80% or so, who are working in the informal sector. And the informal sector is one which is surrounded with extremely risky and hazardous working and living conditions. It also has a high proportion of social vulnerabilities, and Mahua has this inevitable and extremely challenging task of matching this along with the physical infrastructure needs, the sustainability needs, and the governance needs of providing for the enhanced urbanization. it tries to do so through a variety of flagship missions. And I think we have made extremely significant progress there in the form of, if we look at the range of flagship missions, the first is Swachh Bharat mission, I think, which all of us are aware of, the Amrut, which looks at basically the water supply and the sanitation infrastructure,
Professor
which
Vijay,
also
Professor
becomes...
Vijay, if I may, Professor Vijay, but just one second. Are you showing some PowerPoint presentation? Because
No,
there
I'm
is
not
nothing
showing a
coming.
PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
I'm not
The
showing a
control room
PowerPoint
would see.
presentation.
Oh, thank you. Then control room, if you please see why we are getting this black screen. Sure. NIC control room. Yeah, please go ahead, Professor Vijay.
Yeah. Then the cities, there is the National Urban Digital Mission, and there is cities program. And along with all of that, there are two things which I'm going to focus on in this talk, is basically the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antyodaya Yojana, or the National Urban Livelihood Mission, and which works also in conjunction with PM Swanidhi, which is a program which was started in the context of street vendor. Okay. So it's an approach, I think, right from the beginning. So the DAY NULM was instituted in 2014, and basically it is completely aligned with the overall mission and the theme of investing in people. It may sound surprising because when we think about urban development, we think of physical infrastructure building, very engineering and planned approach, but these are two flagship missions which really focus on investing in people, creating employment opportunities, creating services for them, and overall expanding the entire rubric of urban development and making it financially, socially much more inclusive and sustainable. You have first statement, I would say, of investing in people has basically been from 2014 until now, there is an entire transformative ecology of institutions which has happened. So there are national centers of excellence, there are national resource organizations, there is a dedicated center for sustainable livelihoods, which has now been instituted at the National Institute of Urban Affairs. And all this creates people and a cadre of people, more than 24,000 of them, who are committed to the cause of creating sustainable livelihoods, basically in the context of the national urbanization and urban development. The second thing that one would like to talk about really is that the entire approach of the NULM and the PM Swanidhi has been a learning approach, learning and iterative. You pilot things, you experiment with them, then you create models out of them, and then you upscale them at a state level and also at a national level, and always therefore create room for experimentation. I think this is something which is fantastic. And the kind of mandate that therefore the NULM carries is also very vast. On one hand, it is creating livelihoods, and in the last 8 to 10 years or so, from 2014 till now, there are more than 1,995 shelters built for homeless. There are more than 38 lakh people for whom livelihoods have been created. And there are more than 90 lakh women who've actually been covered under the entire rubric of institutions like self-help groups, and through which then enterprise development has happened. It is also very interesting to see that in PM Swanidhi, a program which was started in the context of a post-COVID crisis really, and that program also has been able to be extremely successful, with more than 68 lakh vendors all over the country, street vendors who are otherwise, I mean, they are micro business persons, one can call them, or nano business persons for that matter. And they have been set up on the overall path of financial inclusion, to the extent where not only have been these 68 lakh street vendors have been given loans, but they have also been connected through convergence with many other ministries of the Government of India. There is an entire bouquet of aid schemes which include social security schemes, which include a mapping of the entire household to see which other schemes can the household be eligible for, and then trying to ensure that the household gets benefit of all of those Government of India schemes as well. And this is all done through a digital architecture, which also enables a extremely good monitoring and evaluation system. And I think this is something which is a huge achievement, because till now and prior to 2014, most money which went into urban poverty alleviation programs was considered by banks, by relevant institutions as money which is going down the drain. And in that sense, this has really been a transformative journey. Now, in the coming budget and in the coming years, this approach is being shifted even more. So, in consultation with a whole lot of collaborators, which include academic institutions, NGOs who are working on the ground, these resource organizations which have been created, consultants who have also started working in the field, what has been identified is, along with a what should I say, a Gisapita income-based approach to identifying the poor, okay, and which often proves very flawed. Along with that, 6 vulnerable occupational groups have been identified. And each of these occupational groups, the minute I take the name, you will all be able to recognize what is the entire set of specific vulnerabilities which are associated with these. These are waste workers, construction workers, there are domestic workers, there are gig workers, okay, and there are street vendors. And of course, there are also the NACA workers. So if you look at all of these sets of workers, all of them have specific sets of vulnerabilities. And they are now, their vulnerabilities are being addressed through a comprehensive set of interventions in the coming years. And the MUA has conducted a lot of pilots linked to this. This has led to several learnings. One of these learnings is perhaps that self-help groups, which has become a set methodology in the context of rural areas, does not yet work in the entire dynamic reality of the urban. And therefore, perhaps one should also invest and create common interest groups of the these occupational groups who are interested in pursuing perhaps collective enterprises and so on and so forth. The second learning, I think, which is also very important, is that this digital architecture and monitoring is extremely critical, because it enables an easy convergence across multiple scales of stakeholders, from the Government of India to the state governments, to banks, to implementing organizations, and to the people themselves. So putting people at the center of all of this and investing, therefore, in the implementing machinery and people who are implementing, as well as investing in the people and ensuring that the benefits reach them fully, I think has been really the transformative approach that one has seen. The second thing and second approach really, and the gap which has been seen, is really also to think about and integrating this piloting and learning approach. And for that, the entire architecture and design of program delivery is very critical. And there is a lot which MUA is investing in this kind of architecture and design of programs. And at the same time, it is also investing a whole lot into the capacity building people who are implementing and investing in these programs. The third is creating collaborative relationships. Okay? Because collaborative relationships are extremely necessary if there has to be any dent and if creation of homeless shelters. So on one hand, you are creating assets. Okay? On the other hand, one is creating also supportive social infrastructure. For example, you can give a loan to a street vendor, but tomorrow, the same street vendor will also be shooed out of that place by others because that place is not secure. And for this reason, there are vending hearts which are being created. Okay? There are night markets or weekly markets which are also being experimented with. And this is a very important social infrastructure which is being generated. There are many laborers in our cities who stand at labor chalks, and these labor chalks become incidental developments. Okay? So can we develop these labor chalks in such a way that not only can workers congregate there and the labor exchange can operate efficiently, but at the same time there can be the needs of the laborers who are gathered there can also be met. Can there be a rest place? Can there be tea stalls or snack stalls there? Can there also be some resting rooms there? So these are the developments and these are the pilots which are also being carried out here. And finally, in terms of creating all of this collaboration, the social infrastructure, all of this, I think what is very, very critical really is this entire alignment with, again, coming back to investing in people, right? And people who are perhaps the poorest, the people who are most vulnerable, and who can therefore, who are in some ways the key to making cities far more inclusive. The final word here about financial inclusion, both as an achievement and as a path ahead, is in terms of looking at credit cards. Okay? Banks are very, very reluctant to start a line of credit for these nano enterprises. And therefore, the MOHUA has come up with the idea of having and instituting a credit card which can meet some of the working capital requirements of the street vendors. And it is this approach which is being now experimented with, which will also be adopted then with the other target groups which are part of the DAY MUL. There are many challenges. The scale of the issue is huge, but the overall ambition is to reach somewhere around 26.4 crore urban poor households over the next few years and create sustainable livelihoods for them. I'll stop.
थैंक यू वेरी मच प्रोफेसर वीडे. अब मैं महिला एवं बाल विकास मंत्रालय के सचिव अनिल मलिक जी को अपने विचार प्रकट करने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं.
To all my esteemed colleagues, panelists, Dr. V.K. Paul, Professor Jagdish Kumar, Professor M.P. Gupta, Professor Amitabh Bide, and my dear friends, secretaries. I'm going to make a small presentation on the budget initiatives for development of women and children in India. Next, please. So the budget this year, it reinforces the commitment of Government of India for development of human capital in specific areas related to women and children.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Sir, आपका presentation we are not able to see. Are you sharing some screen, sir?
Yes, we are sharing. Is it? We are just trying. Let us just fix it.
Yes, sir, it's clear now.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to talk about the issues relevant to women and children and the capital development that the budget reinforces our commitment for. I'm going to talk about the ICDS first. It's an old established program which delivers nutrition, preschool education, health, immunization to children, adolescent girls. Next. This is a snapshot of the Saksham Anganwadis. Next. We have about 100 million beneficiaries, about 8.8 crore children below 6 years of age. Of them, we provide nutrition, healthcare. About 4.5 crore children, 3 to 6 years, we provide preschool education. More than a crore pregnant women and lactating mothers, and more than 2 million adolescent girls in some areas of the country. Next. We have established a malnutrition protocol, how malnutrition can be managed. This has been, in the works for last 2 years, and it has helped improve the malnutrition indicators as we see, in the later slides. Next. The National Family Health Survey since 92-93, Survey 1 to 5, they give this report about stunting, underweight, and wasted percentages. We see that there is a gradual, improvement in the malnutrition indicators of children. Stunting is coming down, underweight and wasting, everything is coming down. But when we take question tracker, which is the administrative data set that we are using now across the country, which is filled up by the Anganwadi worker on a daily basis. Then the figures except for stunting, then for underweight and wasted children, they are actually much better than the figures being shown in the Family Health Survey 5. Next. The Honorable Finance Minister has announced increased norms for cost, how to calculate the cost of supplementary nutrition. This is very, very welcome, and it will help us, help the state governments to provide more protein, healthy fats, and essential micronutrients, which is now, part of the diversified diet that is part of the mandate now. And also we have mandated that if possible, Anganwadis should have their own Poshan Vatika, small gardens, about half of them, 6.42 lakh, have already been established. Now, as we know, and we have been talking about it, that the brain development, human brain development happens during conception, and then first 2 years, primarily 75 to 80% happens by that time, and before the age of 6, 85% of the brain develops. So if we, focus on this area, then we absolutely, look after the future of India, the workforce of 2047, Amrit Kal year. So the present investments are leading to the productivity and higher health outcomes for future. This is another area of concern, and we have now established a procedure which is followed by the Anganwadi workers and Asha workers also, whereby identification of children who are missing their milestones, developmental and intelligence milestones, they can be diagnosed early and referred. Next. Various scientific studies, I think they are there in public domain. They say that if you invest 1 rupee in early childhood capital investment, then the returns are 14, 15, 16 times compared to even the hard physical infrastructure, where the returns probably to the economy are about 4 times. So we are going for achieving these, and are making huge progress because of the increasing budgetary allocations. Next. This is a new area where the new education policy mandates that children from 3 years to 8 years, they need a foundational stage of learning, and minimum 3 years of learning before they start primary school. Part of that would now be imparted through the Anganwadi system,
and we are already ready for it. We have trained our more than 2 lakh of the Anganwadi workers through the SLMTs. We are going to train all of them, about 14 lakh Anganwadi workers, and we are going to repeat the training next year. Next. This is the services being provided, through Anganwadi network, where our own workers and helpers, who are 2.5 million, they themselves, become part of a trained workforce, and they become an agent of change in the communities in which they serve. We have introduced a digital platform, mobile app on the Android platform. This is called Poshan Tracker. It's filled up by the Anganwadi worker and all the stakeholders above her level, supervisor, CDPO, district officers, and state officers, and the government of India. They have login IDs. So this data is collected on each and every activity of the Anganwadi through this tracker. There is no maintenance of physical registers now. It's in the local languages, 24 languages. Now we are going to strengthen it further by introducing a recognition system for face, so that the rations and services given to beneficiaries are captured, on a real-time basis to build more accountability. We have also, through the increased budgetary allocations, now established the idea of Jan Andolan and community participation through Poshan Ma and Poshan Pakhwadas and community-based events, whereby various stakeholders in the society, Panchayati Raj institutions, self-help groups, civil society groups, other organizations, local influencers, they are involved, in the nutrition, health, and early childhood education activities. Next. About women, we have women empowerment programs also, and we follow the life cycle approach, starting from the childhood of women, adolescence, adulthood, motherhood, and then old age. And this is part of the women-led development, which is the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister to achieve Viksit Bharat 2047. Next. These are some of the initiatives of this ministry as well as other ministries that are part of this initiative, where universal health coverage, maternity care, immunization, and we have Swachh Bharat, where the drudgery of women has been reduced to a great extent, piped water supply to households, clean cooking gas connections, and all-weather houses being constructed. Education, as highlighted by Sanjay Kumarji, the great job that they are doing. So all these are enablers for empowerment of women, to enable them to participate in the workforce in big numbers. We have a special maternity benefit scheme also, which we are implementing through online DBT mechanism. Right now, we have, since its inception in 2017, benefited 3.82 crore beneficiaries, and they have received about 17,448 crore.
You are entering the meeting now.
Approve is this special assistance for capital investments to create a new working women hostels. This was worth 5,000 crores, and we are going to take full benefit of it. Already many approvals have happened. This would enable more women to participate in the workforce, to work fearlessly away from their homes. Next. Another initiative which has been there since last 10 years is the institution of one-stop center, where women who are distressed or under any kind of threat of violence, or where actual violence has happened, but they don't want to go to police right away, there is a place available, and now its access is online also, and it is available through the women helpline also. So under that, in that one place, we provide all 5 services: police help, medical help, legal help, psychosocial counseling, and shelter. Next. Women helpline now, like other helplines, child helpline as well as 112, it has got absolutely stabilized throughout the country. 181. It is linked both ways to the child helpline as well as to the emergency helpline 112, and also linked to the district level institutions of the Women and Child Development Department, including the OSC. So this is a big relief to women under any kind of threat or any kind of pressure. It's available 24/7 into 365. Next. This is a non-lapsable. This is a great innovation in the budget. This is a non-lapsable ongoing scheme where the focus is on projects which promote safety and security of women. Till now, about 5,846 crore rupees have been actually utilized by implementing agencies, whereas from our side we have appraised more than 50 projects worth 11,298 crores. Next. This is just at a glance what kind of projects we are appraising. Projects dealing with the prevention of crime against women, of helpline, emergency help, projects relating to safe transport, where women can go to work fearlessly or go for studies fearlessly. Next. Projects to, improve the safety of public places, projects for training, capacity building of duty holders, and also projects to bring the guilty, who commit violence against children and women to speedy justice. This year there has been a big jump in the gender budgeting. This is the budget statement number 13, where more than 49 ministries and 5 UTs have reported budget to the extent of 4.49 lakh crores out of a total budget of 50.65 lakh crores of the union budget. So we can see the focus on women, their empowerment, their protection. It's a huge increase from previous years. This recognition of the gender budget will help us in focusing and monitoring different ministries and departments and their more than 270 schemes which have been reported under this. Next. So this is the gradual increase in the budget of the gender budget under the gender budget head. Next. For children also, half of them are women, girls. The budget in the statement number 12 has increased, next please, to 1.17 lakh crore approximately. It's been reported by over 20 ministries and more than 90 schemes are involved, which have a provision of direct benefit or direct protection or help to the children to the extent of 100% or 30 to 90%, and some partly below 30%. Next. We also implement the child protection legislations. Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act is the foundational law and rules and various institutions that have come under it. And then, against sexual offenders against children, we have a very stringent act, POCSO Act, and there is a Commission for Protection of Child Rights, which gets these rights implemented and looks into complaints and goes into the complaints in details. We also have a Vatsalya scheme. The budget provisions have taken care of the scheme in the sense that it is now pan-India scheme supporting the children who are abandoned, orphaned, or who have nobody to look after, or trafficked children, or children under threat of violence, through institutional care where they can live in a hostel-like situation for a long time, and also through non-institutional care, that is family care through adoption, foster care, aftercare, etc. Next. These are various statutory institutions under the child care laws at the state level and at the district level. Next. Different kinds of institutional care we provide. These are we are dealing basically with the children who are in need of care and protection, and children who have a conflict in law situation. So both children are segregated and dealt with differently so that they can reintegrate in the society. There is a budget of around 1,500 crores for the next year, and it will help us further strengthen these child protection services. Next. So the main mission of the ministry is that health, education, empowerment of children and women have to go hand in hand, and it's it's an all government and all ministries effort. We are coordinating with various ministries, and I thank them for their cooperation and full, convergence that we have been able to achieve at the district and implementation level. Let's hope we can build a healthier, empowered, and equitable India. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. I now invite Professor MP Gupta of IIT Delhi, who is representing Department of Telecommunications.
So, Namaskar and good afternoon to all of you. I am honored to be part of this important webinar, and thank you, Duty Secretary, for giving me this opportunity. Today, I will give a summary of how telecom sector in the past 10 years has triggered spurt of economic opportunities and augmented more than 40 national priority programs, thereby catalyzing economic growth. As you know, United Nations SDG also has found telecommunication as very powerful tool of development and poverty alleviation. And if you see past decade, telecom sector in India has seen major developments, including consolidation among operators, a massive surge of data usage driven by affordable tariff, rapid adoption of 4G technology, increased focus on domestic manufacturing, and emergence of 5G services, all fueled by friendly government policies promoting digital inclusion, startup innovation, and market competition. And these have led India to emerge as the largest telecom market in the world with vast user penetration. Going forward, the entire effort made by DOT may be organized into 4 baskets, and I will explain each one subsequently. So first basket is about initiative that ensures inclusive and meaningful connectivity. We can call Samaveshit. And this is about 4G and 5G network spread. 4G has footprint across all villages. 5G has been rolled out, covering almost more than 80% of the population. In terms of subscriber base, India is now the second largest in the world, both on telephones and internet. And via BharatNet program, we are going to reach almost all Gram Panchayat in foreseeable future, and the budget is very high, is 1.3 lakh crore, etc. Second basket that we would club all those initiatives leading to enhancing ease of living and ease of doing business. We can call Twarit. And this is about all telecom reforms, and primarily the recent one new Telecom Act that was cleared by Parliament in 2023, replacing all old acts. It has added several new features like licenses by rule-based framework, of authorization framework for spectrum assignment, adjudication mechanism with voluntary disclosure, regulatory sandbox, etc. Via National Broadband Mission, the process of granting permissions has been streamlined significantly. So it used to take almost more than 400 days to approve an application. Now it takes 41 days. I probably assume that there is still scope to improve. A week time should be enough. Further, DOT also has set up more than 60 certification labs across nation to improve quality and security of telecom products via testing facilities. TRAI also has set up a new benchmark for key network parameters like network availability, call drop rates, packet drop rates, etc. Third basket is about making infrastructure secure and safe. And DOT has launched a portal called Sanchar Sathi, allowing citizens to report suspected fraud communication, know the mobile connections issued in their name, and report connections which are either not taken by them or not required. Also report stolen or lost mobile handsets for blocking and tracing. Check the genuineness of mobile handset. Report the incoming international calls received with Indian telephone number as calling line identification. And these have made significant impact. By last year, the data show that more than 25 lakh mobile handsets have been blocked, and more than 70 lakh suspected connections have been disconnected. More than 70,000 point of sales selling SIM on fake documents have been blacklisted, and there have been plenty of FIRs on that. Fourth basket is about initiative that is supporting innovation and development, and notable one is extending Make in India production linked scheme incentive like to also telecom manufacturing. And over and above standard PLI scheme offers 1% additional incentive for product design, develop and manufacture in India. So and this is showing a positive result. If you look at share data, there have been manufacturing of telecom and network products to the tune of 29,000 crore in previous year, which is several times more than what it was earlier. And also generating number of employments to passing out graduates as well. Looking at the future, government of India has launched 6G vision as well, with the aim to develop and deploy the same by next 5 to 6 years time. So with so much promise, that DOT initiative hold. Finance Minister has rightly set a national agenda in this year budget to broadband connectivity to all government secondary schools, and primary healthcare centers in rural areas through Bharat initiative. This project is not just about technology. It is about empowering communities to thrive in the digital age. If you follow Human Development Index, the idea of empowerment is woven into HDI as propounded by United Nations, which measures countries' progress primarily in 3 areas: healthcare, education, and living standard. And Government of India has initiated several programs to augment the HDI, particularly in the sector like education and sector via digital technology. And if you recall, digital empowerment has been one of the 3 vision areas of Digital India program, started in 2015. It promised to provide universal digital literacy, universally accessible digital resources, availability of these resources in Indian languages, collaborative digital platforms for participative governance, and portability of all entitlements through cloud. Now, Digital India program has been here around for almost 10 years, and I feel we should do some audit how much digital empowerment we have achieved so far. Going forward on broadband theme, so availability of broadband connectivity in rural schools means that students are able to access the wealth of online educational resources, e-learning platforms, and digital literacy tools. Similarly, the availability of internet connectivity in public health centers provides access to telemedicine, remote diagnostics, and digital management of health data, all of which are crucial to improving healthcare services in these underserved areas. With this transformative change, the nation is moving towards a future where digital equity is reality, where every child has access to quality education, and every person has access to quality health care. I encourage all of us to think on these initiatives as a stepping stone towards smarter, healthier, and more connected India. Together, we can ensure that benefits of broadband connectivity are felt by every citizen from mountain to plains. That's all from my side. I'll stop here. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much, Professor MP Gupta. Now I request Ministry of Labour and Employment Secretary, Ms. Sumita Dabra, ma'am, to say a few words on her subject. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon to all. When it comes to investing in people, the Ministry of Labour and Employment in the past several years has taken numerous measures to promote labor welfare, improve social security coverage, bring in labor reforms to ensure ease of doing business with a view to more employment generation, and also with a view to promote ease of living. Several notable reforms have been brought in EPFO, the Employees Provident Fund Organization, the ESIC, Employees State Insurance Corporation, and so on. Before I go to the budget announcement 2025-26 for the ministry, I would like to enumerate some of the major achievements of the ministry, which will reflect the progress in investing in people in the last few years. First of all, I'd like to talk about social security benefits. Here we have evidence from the ILO's World Social Protection Report 2024-26, which highlights India's remarkable progress, where we have doubled our social protection coverage from 22% in 2016 to about 48.8, almost 50% in 2024. And due to India's remarkable progress, the social protection coverage in the world has increased by 5 percentage points. If we consider cash and in-kind benefits of India's social security schemes, and we are working on this with ILO, we see the exercise reveals that 65% population of the country is covered by at least one social protection benefit. Apart from what I just presented on India's overall social protection coverage, I would also like to highlight the several intervention schemes taken up by the Ministry of Labour and Employment in the last 10 years and also recent past. We have the National Career Service Portal, which was launched in 2015-16, where we match the people who are seeking jobs with the employers. And in the last 10 years, we have mobilized about 4.7 crore vacancies on the National Career Service Portal, and job fairs have been conducted, more than 50,000, and we have more than 400 model career centers which have been established to function as employment exchanges and align the supply and demand in the labor market better. We have also covered 51 lakh and more beneficiaries under the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana, which is a pension scheme, and under Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana. In the last 4 years, we have covered more than 60 lakh beneficiaries with an expenditure of more than 10,000 crore. We also have eShram, which is globally recognized as a best practice of technical intervention in the labor market. And this is a national database of unorganized workers, where about 31 crore, to be precise, 30.63 crore unorganized workers have been registered to get access to several social security schemes of Government of India and also of the states. We have also several schemes for labor welfare under health, housing, education. And when we speak of the employees pension scheme, which is implemented by EPFO, we have more than 5.29 crore members who are under the employees pension scheme. Now, when we talk about EPFO further, the Employees Provident Fund Organization, we see an increasing trend in the enrollment. And in the last 6.5 years alone, we see more than 6.2 crore new members have joined the EPFO, which shows both job creation and formalization of the market. At the same time, for ease of living, significant reforms have been brought into EPFO to improve the pension services, claim processing, enhance IT systems, and so on. To give an example, in December 2024, we launched the pension reform under the centralized pension processing system, whereby a pensioner can take his or her pension from any bank in the country, any branch in the country. Similarly, we have increased the auto settlement of Provident Fund claims. We have increased the limits from 50,000 to 1 lakh. We have expanded the categories from just sickness to include also education, marriage, and housing. Under Nidhi Aapke Niket, we go to the beneficiaries every month. District camps are organized, and in the last 2 years, more than 16,000 district camps have been done, where more than 5.5 lakh beneficiaries have come to get their problems resolved. 85% grievances are resolved on the spot. The centralized IT system of EPFO and the simplification processes, improved grievance redressal, automated claim settlement are some of the other reforms. We have extended EPFO services in the Union territories of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. And we have also implemented the minimum pension scheme, which was notified in 2014-15, and more than 20 lakh pensioners are availing the minimum pension every year. Under the Prayas initiative, we give the PPOs to the members under the EPFO on the day of the superannuation, and there are many other such reforms, all of which I am not enumerating, but it's also important to mention how digitalization is being used, the face authentication technology, which reduces the dependence of the pensioner on external biometric devices. The impact of these reforms in EPFO is a historic claim settlement for the first time in history in 2024-25, where EPFO has crossed 5 crore claim settlements in 1 year, settling more than 2 lakh crore rupees worth of claims. Now coming to ESIC, the Employee State Insurance Corporation, where the health benefits and other social security coverage is given, the number of insured persons has increased from 2.03 crore in 2014 to 3.72 crore in 2024. The number of beneficiaries have increased because the number of families are also included along with the insured persons to about 14.43 crore in 2024. The number of hospitals have increased to 165. We have also announced another 10 new ESIC medical colleges in this financial year, apart from the 8 existing colleges. The healthcare services in ESIC are being integrated with PMJY, and the pilot is already done, giving access to ESIC beneficiaries to a bigger network of hospitals in the country. We have also approved more than 100 new hospitals, and we have started mobile app for taking appointments. We are using technical interventions for providing ambulance service. The 5G ambulance services are in place. Super specialty hospitals, the Aadhaar seeding, Ayushman Bharat health accounts have also been started. Coming to labor reforms, the codification of laws, multiple laws. There were 44 Central Labor Acts into 4 codes, has been approved, has been passed by Parliament in 2019-20, bringing about simplification, rationalization of the labor codes, reducing complexity, difficulty in enforcement, and also so that we can leverage technology for transparency and ease of the stakeholders and create safe, healthy working conditions for labor, bring about more quality employment generation, more flexibility in the labor market, decriminalization, reduction in compliance burden, more ease of doing business, more job creation, and so on and so forth. Many, many reforms have been addressed under the labor codes. Simultaneously, the states have also been piloting a lot of reforms, and these reforms have led to reduction in compliance burden, a more eco-friendly ecosystem for investments, and also importantly, allowing women to work at night. Many, many states have brought in all these reforms. Now, looking at employment trends, it's very important to see what is happening in the employment market. In the last 10 years, India has risen from the 10th largest economy to the 5th largest economy, bringing about a significant transformation in the employment landscape. We see major employment growth drivers in services, in construction, in trade, in manufacturing, in the MSME sector. The job market is rapidly evolving. New job roles are emerging in the startup ecosystem, the gig and platform economy, healthcare, tourism, hospitality, education, the global capability centers, the care economy, the startups. They are all contributing to job creation. The workforce engaged in economic activity has risen in the last 10 years from 471.5 million to 643.3 million, going by RBI data. Unemployment rate has declined from 6% to 3.2% in the last 6 years alone. Similarly, the labor force participation rate and the worker population ratio has increased in the last 10 years. Employability of Indian graduates has gone up significantly from 33.95%, about 34% in 2013, to about 55%, 54.81% in 2024 due to government-led skill building initiatives. I have already mentioned about technological development in the labor market and the use of e-Shram. I have also mentioned about the National Career Service Portal, and these are case studies today we are showcasing to the rest of the world, G20, how in the last 10 years alone, technology is being used in the labor market in India to bring about demand-supply alignment and also bring access to social security for unorganized labor. For employers, we have technology in terms of Shram Suvidha portal, which is providing a single interface between employers and enforcement agencies. There is day-to-day transparency, which has been promoted. There is a single annual return under 8 acts, and discretion of labor inspectors has been reduced in the last 10 years. Coming to G20 presidency of India, we had a very important announcement by the leaders on development of an international reference framework to address the global skill shortages by bringing about mutual recognition of skills and qualifications. That is where the ministry is leading the study with ILO and OECD, and we will have the study very soon. By the end of this year, the draft will be there. This is very important because it will enable international mobility of Indian youth with their skills and qualifications being recognized within that framework. So that's going to be facilitated. Recognizing the importance of the employment landscape, which I just mentioned, the budget 24-25 proposed the employment linked incentive scheme as part of Prime Minister's package on employment and skilling. The proposed scheme incentivizes employers and employees and focuses on first-time employees in the formal sector. The budgetary allocation for this scheme has been doubled in this year's budget. In 25-26, this has been doubled from 10,000 crore to 20,000 crore, taking the ministry's budget allocation to a historic high of 32,646 crore in financial year. So this is for both labor welfare, employment creation, and the present budget 25-26 has the theme, one of the 10 core areas outlined are employment-led development. Within that, very specifically, I would now like to come to our budget announcement, which is the Social Security Scheme for Welfare of Online Platform Workers. Now, this is a presentation which we have. We'll quickly go through it. India's gig and platform economy is booming, and if we see the Niti Aayog estimates, we are already around 1 crore as of now, and we are going to be 23.5 million, 2.35 crore by 2030. That is how the platform and gig economy is growing. Next. These are some of the challenges which have been recognized by government, the challenges faced by the gig and platform workers. This is very distinct from the traditional employees. These people are in flexible work arrangements. They're working on digital platforms, and there is a unique nature of the platform economy. There are concerns around sufficient economic and social protection, which is why the ministry has been engaging with various stakeholders to bring about a welfare scheme, a social security scheme for the gig and platform workers. Next. Coming to the union budget announcement, recognizing the contribution of the gig workers on online platforms, we have a historic announcement. We have showcased this in the G20 Labour Working Group in February this year, and this has been hugely appreciated. The registration of platform workers on eShram portal, we've already launched the aggregator module. Then we will arrange for their identity cards. Our scheme, a draft scheme has been put together already. And then we will come to the important benefit of providing healthcare benefits to the platform workers under PM Jan Arogya Yojana. As we are aware, the Jan Arogya Yojana will give a coverage of 5 lakhs per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization across public and private empaneled hospitals in India. And the scheme, what we have put together now, since we will be targeting the platform workers, we will be targeting to cover 35 lakh workers in this fiscal year alone, 25-26, with projections to increase further to 1 crore by 29-30. Today's panel discussion, which will be held later in the day, we will be discussing vital issues such as strategic planning for effective execution of bringing about the benefit to the platform workers, the expected challenges in rolling out the scheme, and the significance of using technology for smooth implementation. So this will be the focus of our discussion later today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. With this, now we come to the conclusion of this session. I sincerely extend my gratitude to all the esteemed panelists for sharing their valuable insights and perspectives. एक बार फिर आप सभी का इस सत्र में भाग लेने के लिए बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद. I request all of you to join at 1 p.m. for Hon'ble PM session. Thank you very much.
हाँ सर. Hello, hello.
Hello. NIC headquarter. I'm audible.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही सर.
Ministry of Labor.
मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लेबर से आ रही है.
सर वॉइस आ रही है.
आपकी नहीं आ रही है.
हेलो. विनोद सर. नीति आयोग.
हेलो. हाँ हेलो.
वॉइस मिल रही है सर.
हाँ कहाँ से बोले?
सर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लेबर.
मिल गई आपकी. मेरी मिल रही है आपको?
सर आपको मिल रहा है.
आरआर हम इसलिए नहीं आगे चल पा रहे कि आरआर में हम प्रमोशन क्या क्या रखते हैं, मोड ऑफ रिक्रूटमेंट क्या रखते हैं, डायरेक्ट रिक्रूट करते हैं या प्रमोशन फ्रॉम एरिया करते हैं. वी कैन नॉट डू दैट टिल द टाइम वी डिसाइड ऑन एरिया. ये इशू है ना. बट हमारे प्रेजेंट आरआर में दैट एक्सपीरियंस क्राइटेरिया स्टिल कंटिन्यू. रिवाइज आरआर with the experience criteria is removed has not been issued correctly or has been issued. No, has not been issued. So others are not, you have to accept that on the report and say that yes, now we are issuing fresh RR without experience criteria. वो भी तो खारिज कर दिया, तो हमको अपने आर भी तो चेंज करने हैं ना. आर चेंज करना हो तो हमारे डीओपी को इसी को घूम रहा है. इसलिए वो अटका हुआ है कि एडीआई का वो वाला इशू जब तक भी सॉर्ट हो जाता है कि एडीआई ब्लॉक पहले जाएंगे डीआई में तो कब हम डीआई के रिक्रूटमेंट स्टार्ट करेंगे ना, या हम उसको सेग्रीगेट कर दें और डीआई के रिक्रूटमेंट अलग से शुरू करें. वो हम हमारा कोई पता वाला है कि जो वर्क करके हम करें सब करें. वो तो रखा हो वो तो मैंने बताया था कि यूपीएससी में अच्छा वो ये 120 वाले इनको ईमेल भेजें या फिर व्हाट्सएप पे भेज देंगे. ईमेल कर बेटा मतलब कि आप इसको अपॉइंटमेंट से भेजना देखो या तो स्कैन करके भेज दें इसको कर सकेगा.
एनआईसी हेडक्वार्टर बीसी डिवीजन लगा दें. बीसी डिवीजन एनआईसी हेडक्वार्टर.
अरे भाई मोबाइल
चला
इंडियन रेगुलेटरी आप अपनी एप्लीकेशन करोगे.
अमित शर्मा सर.
आपका वाला भी ले जाना. हाँ बिल्कुल.
अनवर सर.
कचरा गिलास डीआई है तो जहाँ तो
एनआईसी हेडक्वार्टर बीसी डिवीजन.
ओके, पर सर आप जब आगे हो रहे हैं तो आप मिनिस्टर साहब के सामने से आ जाएंगे।
अच्छा, इसको हटा सकते हैं यहाँ तक?
थोड़ा सा इधर कर लीजिए प्लीज।
अच्छा ठीक है,
ओके
अभी
ओके,
ठीक है।
हाँ सर, अब
अभी ठीक।
आप कंफर्टेबल होके जैसे बैठेंगे आप वैसे बोलिए प्लीज।
29 ministries, 29 sections, more than 100 faculties, and 25,000 participants.
लेकिन इसमें जो है 3।
हाँ हाँ जी सर, रेडी हैं हम लोग?
हेलो, हाँ जी
सर,
ठीक है ना?
हाँ सर, आप थोड़ा और अपने पास माइक कर लीजिए यदि इजी है तो। थोड़ा माइक और अपने पास कर लीजिए सर। हाँ हाँ ठीक सर, आप अब इजी हैं तो आप एक बार ऑडियो चेक कर दीजिए प्लीज।
म्यूट है सर।
म्यूट है सर, आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी। हाँ बोलिए सर।
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी।
जी ठीक है सर, ऑडियो वीडियो ठीक है सर। मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, मैं जब हम शुरू करेंगे प्रोग्राम तो एक टेक्स्ट प्लेट आपको दिखाई देगी जो आज का सब्जेक्ट है, वो मैं आपको अभी दिखा देता हूँ। वो आपके लिए क्यू पॉइंट होगा। जैसे ही वो टेक्स्ट प्लेट हटेगी प्रधानमंत्री जी दिखाई देंगे, आपको फिर वेलकम करना है सर। ठीक सर?
हाँ जी हाँ जी।
और लास्ट में सर जब सर धन्यवाद करेंगे तो हम वो ही टेक्स्ट प्लेट आपको दोबारा देंगे और हम आउट हो जाएंगे।
जरूर।
तो मैं आपको वो टेक्स्ट प्लेट क्यू पॉइंट के लिए दिखा देता हूँ सर। अश्विनी टेक्स्ट प्लेट दिखाओ सर। ये वाली टेक्स्ट प्लेट आपके लिए होगी, ये क्यू पॉइंट है। इसका मतलब है सर प्रधानमंत्री साहब रूम में आ गए हैं। जैसे ही हटेगी आपको प्रधानमंत्री जी दिखाएंगे। यहाँ से प्रोग्राम शुरू करेंगे सर।
जी जी
ठीक सर, थैंक यू सर।
अभी मेरी आवाज सुन लीजिए।
हाँ जी बताइए।
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी।
हाँ ठीक है सर, ऑडियो वीडियो ठीक है बिल्कुल।
सर एक चीज और सर, जो आप एक बार अनाउंस कर दीजिएगा सर, जितने भी लोग कैमरा ऑन नहीं किया है सर वो कैमरा ऑन कर लेंगे सर। वो सारा ब्लैक
जरूर 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 हम बोल देंगे।
हाँ
थैंक यू सर।
मतलब जब भी सब लोग जुड़ेंगे तो सब कैमरा ऑन रखें अपना ना प्लीज।
I request all our colleagues who have joined, please turn on the cameras and mute your mics, especially all the ministries.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. क्या हुआ? हाँ?
All the panelists, please turn on your videos.
नहीं, ये ठीक है आपको।
SP सिंह साहब, श्रीकांत विश्वनाथन जी,
मंत्री जी
अनिल
को याद दिला दीजिए एक
Ambojkin.
बार।
Get out of this. IFS DEA राहुल सिंह जी, डायरेक्टर DEA, दो श्रुति राय जी,
क्या नाम है?
NIUA शिखा अरोरा जी।
एक बार जल्दी से विंडो दिखा दो।
I think a lot of people are. Amrit Abhijat, can you turn on your video?
Amit sir.
Panelists, please turn on the video. SP Singh, our own colleague.
नहीं सिंह। हाँ, अभी सर और विंडो दिखाओ।
Shruti Rai, madam, turn on your
कैसे
video.
करेंगे भाई, हम तो टोटल में चेक करेंगे।
Depolina ji, turn on your video. All of you, please turn on your videos. संजय मुखर्जी साहब, उनका वीडियो ऑन नहीं है। प्रोफेसर शाश्वत बंदोपाध्याय, काइंडली टर्न ऑन योर वीडियो।
अमित जी।
सर
अमित जी।
नहीं
एक तो ये टैब विंडो।
किशोर रावत, टर्न ऑन योर वीडियो।
सर फोन पे आइए, फोन पे।
अच्छा।
प्रोफेसर शाश्वत।
ये जा रहे पोस्ट
वो
राइट
CTO
साइड में। सर 1 घंटे से चल रहा था सर। तो थोड़ा आपको अलाइन कर, आप बैठिए सर, मैं थोड़ा करा देता हूँ। हाँ ठीक है। बस सर अभी 3 मिनट में शुरू हो जाएगी सर।
हेलो सर, हेलो हेलो।
Kindly turn on the cameras, mute the mics, please. We still see a lot of blank cameras. Session 7, Gaje. I see Mr. Manish Jain, Yogesh Singh, VCDU. Thank you. Hari Kumar Janki Raman. Rahul Singh, DES still, I think, camera down. There are some microphones on. Kindly turn them. Sir, kindly turn off your camera, sir. Gopi sir, please. There are a few others. Deepak Singh, I think. Deepak Kumar Singh.
Dominic ji. Shilpi ji.
I'm seeing again a blank camera. Shilpi ji. Jane Dominic. There are 2 blanks. Session 7, Gaje. INC HQ something. Acha. There is Deepak Kumar Singh. Kindly turn it on. जी जी सुरेश कपूर जी। Deepak Kumar ji, kindly turn on. Thank you. Munish, NIC headquarter. Devashish plus Prusti. I'm just reading out names, please don't mind, but these are the blank screens we see. There is one Mr. Ray. I'm not able to read the name clearly. In water cleanliness and sanitation, under that box. Ministry of Ports, the chair is empty. Kindly.
Water, cleanliness and sanitation, there are 3 speakers, panelists who are not putting on their mics. Can that be immediately? Shilpi ji?
Just at the side, so I will join in right away.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, I request everyone to turn on your cameras, please, and mute all the microphones. Primarily, all the secretariat offices have been given the links for microphones, so kindly ensure that they're all turned off. We will be receiving the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister in just a couple of minutes. So kindly, all of you, please be in your seats. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन। बजट घोषणा 2025-26 के बाद आयोजित की जा रहे पोस्ट बजट वेबिनार में मैं आपका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। यह वेबिनार अर्थव्यवस्था में निवेश, सुगम जीवन और सुगम यात्रा यानी इन्वेस्टिंग इन इकोनॉमी, ईज ऑफ लिविंग एंड ईज ऑफ ट्रैवल, लोगों में निवेश यानी इन्वेस्टिंग इन पीपल और नवाचार में निवेश, इन्वेस्टिंग इनोवेशन के विषय में आयोजित किया जा रहा है। इस वेबिनार का उद्देश्य सभी संबंधित हितधारकों, स्टेक होल्डर्स को सरकार के दृष्टिकोण से अवगत कराना और उनके रचनात्मक विचार जानना है। इस वेबिनार में 29 मंत्रालय, 29 सत्र में लगभग 100 पैनलिस्ट और 25,000 से अधिक प्रतिभागी शामिल हैं। इस वेबिनार में बजट के 43 अनुच्छेदों पैरा पर चर्चा होगी। अब मैं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे हमारी मार्गदर्शन करें।
नमस्कार, आप सभी का इस महत्वपूर्ण बजट वेबिनार में स्वागत है, अभिनंदन है। इन्वेस्टिंग इन पीपल, इकोनॉमी एंड इनोवेशन, ये एक ऐसी थीम है जो विकसित भारत के रोडमैप को डिफाइन करती है। इस साल के बजट में आपको इसका प्रभाव भी बहुत बड़े स्केल पर दिख रहा है। इसलिए यह बजट भारत के भविष्य का ब्लूप्रिंट बनकर सामने आया है। हमने इन्वेस्टमेंट में जितनी प्राथमिकता इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और इंडस्ट्रीज को दी है, उतनी ही प्राथमिकता पीपल, इकोनॉमी और इनोवेशन को भी दी है। आप सब जानते हैं कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग और टैलेंट नर्चरिंग ये देश की प्रगति के लिए फाउंडेशन स्टोन का काम करती है। इसलिए अब विकास के अगले चरण में हमें इन क्षेत्रों में और ज्यादा निवेश करना है। इसके लिए हम सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स को आगे आना होगा, क्योंकि ये देश की इकोनॉमिक सक्सेस के लिए आवश्यक है और साथ ही ये हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की सक्सेस का भी आधार है। साथियों, इन्वेस्टमेंट इन पीपल का विजन 3 पिलर्स पर खड़ा होता है: एजुकेशन, स्किल और हेल्थ केयर। आज आप देख रहे हैं भारत का एजुकेशन सिस्टम कई दशक के बाद कितने बड़े ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन से गुजर रहा है। नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी जैसे बड़े कदम, आईआईटीज का विस्तार, एजुकेशन सिस्टम में टेक्नोलॉजी का इंटीग्रेशन, एआई के फुल पोटेंशियल का उपयोग, टेक्स्ट बुक का डिजिटाइजेशन, 22 भारतीय भाषाओं में लर्निंग मटेरियल्स उपलब्ध करवाने का काम, ऐसे कितने ही प्रयास मिशन मोड में जारी है। इनके कारण आज भारत का एजुकेशन सिस्टम 21वीं सदी की दुनिया की जरूरतों और पैरामीटर्स को मैच कर रहा है। साथियों, सरकार ने 2014 से अब तक 3 करोड़ से ज्यादा युवाओं को स्किल ट्रेनिंग दी है। हमने 1000 आईटीआई संस्थानों को अपग्रेड करने और 5 सेंटर ऑफ एक्सेलेंस बनाने का ऐलान किया है। हमारा लक्ष्य है कि युवाओं की ट्रेनिंग ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि वो हमारी इंडस्ट्री की जरूरतों पूरी कर सके। इसमें हम ग्लोबल एक्सपर्ट से मदद लेकर ये सुनिश्चित कर रहे हैं कि हमारे युवा वर्ल्ड लेवल पर compete कर सके। इन सब प्रयासों में हमारी इंडस्ट्री और एकेडेमिया की सबसे बड़ी भूमिका है। इंडस्ट्री और एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स एक दूसरे की जरूरतों को समझे और उन्हें पूरा करें। युवाओं को तेजी से बदलती दुनिया के साथ चलने का मौका मिले, उनको एक्सपोजर मिले, उन्हें प्रैक्टिकल लर्निंग के लिए प्लेटफॉर्म मिले। इसके लिए सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स को एक साथ आना होगा। हमने युवाओं को नए अवसर और प्रैक्टिकल स्किल्स देने के लिए पीएम इंटर्नशिप स्कीम शुरू की है। इस योजना में हर स्केल पर ज्यादा से ज्यादा उद्योगों की भागीदारी हो, हमें ये सुनिश्चित करना ही है। साथियों, हमने इस बजट में 10,000 अतिरिक्त मेडिकल सीटों की घोषणा की है। हम अगले 5 सालों में मेडिकल लाइन में 75,000 सीटें जोड़ने का टारगेट लेकर चल रहे हैं। सभी प्राइमरी हेल्थ सेंटर्स टेलीमेडिसिन सुविधा का विस्तार इन सब क्षेत्रों में हो रहा है। डे केयर, कैंसर सेंटर और डिजिटल हेल्थ केयर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के जरिए हम क्वालिटी हेल्थ केयर को लास्ट माइल तक पहुंचाना चाहते हैं। आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं इससे लोगों के जीवन में कितना बड़ा परिवर्तन आएगा। इससे युवाओं के लिए रोजगार के भी अनेक नए अवसर बनेंगे। इन्हें जमीन पर उतारने के लिए आपको उतनी ही तेजी से काम करना है। तभी हम बजट घोषणाओं का लाभ ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों तक पहुंचा पाएंगे। साथियों, पिछले 10 वर्षों में हमने इकोनॉमी में इन्वेस्टमेंट को भी फ्यूचरिस्टिक सोच के साथ देखा है। आप जानते हैं 2047 तक भारत की शहरी आबादी लगभग 90 करोड़ तक हो जाने का अनुमान है। इतनी बड़ी आबादी के लिए प्लान अर्बनाइजेशन की जरूरत है। इसके लिए हमने 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए का अर्बन चैलेंज फंड बनाने की पहल की है। इससे गवर्नेंस, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और फाइनेंशियल सस्टेनेबिलिटी पर फोकस किया जाएगा और प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट भी बढ़ेगा। हमारे शहर सस्टेनेबल अर्बन मोबिलिटी, डिजिटल इंटीग्रेशन और क्लाइमेट रेजिलियंस प्लान के लिए जाने जाएंगे। हमारे प्राइवेट सेक्टर को, खासकर रियल स्टेट और इंडस्ट्री को प्लान अर्बनाइजेशन पर फोकस करना चाहिए, उसे और आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए। अमृत 2.0 और जल जीवन मिशन जैसे अभियानों को भी आगे बढ़ाने के लिए सभी को साथ काम करना है। साथियों, आज जब हम अर्थव्यवस्था में निवेश की बात कर रहे हैं तो हमें पर्यटन की संभावनाओं पर विशेष ध्यान देने की जरूरत है। पर्यटन सेक्टर का हमारी जीडीपी में योगदान 10% तक होने की संभावना है। इस सेक्टर में करोड़ों युवाओं को रोजगार देने की क्षमता है। इसलिए इस बजट में घरेलू और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय टूरिज्म को बढ़ावा देने के लिए कई फैसले लिए गए हैं। देश भर में 50 डेस्टिनेशंस को टूरिज्म पर फोकस करते हुए विकसित किया जाएगा। इन डेस्टिनेशंस में होटलों को इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का दर्जा दिए जाने से ईज ऑफ टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा, स्थानीय रोजगार को भी बढ़ावा मिलेगा। होम स्टे के लिए मुद्रा योजना का दायरा भी बढ़ाया गया है। हिल इन इंडिया और लैंड ऑफ द बुद्धा इस अभियान के माध्यम से दुनिया भर के पर्यटकों को आकर्षित किया जा रहा है। भारत एक ग्लोबल स्तर का टूरिज्म एंड वेलनेस हब बने, इस दिशा में प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। साथियों, जब हम पर्यटन की बात करते हैं तो इसमें होटल इंडस्ट्री, ट्रांसपोर्ट सेक्टर के अलावा पर्यटन में दूसरे सेक्टर के लिए भी नए अवसर हैं। इसलिए मैं कहूंगा हमारे हेल्थ सेक्टर के स्टेक होल्डर्स हेल्थ टूरिज्म को प्रमोट करने के लिए इन्वेस्ट करें। ये अपॉर्चुनिटी तो ग्रैब कीजिए आप। योगा और वेलनेस टूरिज्म के पूरे पोटेंशियल को भी हमें इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए। एजुकेशन टूरिज्म में भी हमारे पास काफी स्कोप है। मैं चाहूंगा इस दिशा में विस्तार से चर्चा हो और एक स्ट्रांग रोडमैप के साथ इस दिशा में आगे बढ़ा जाए। साथियों, देश का भविष्य इनोवेशन में किए जा रहे निवेश से निर्धारित होता है। भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कई लाख करोड़ रुपए की ग्रोथ दे सकती है। इसलिए हमें इस दिशा में तेजी से आगे बढ़ना है। इस बजट में एआई ड्रिवेन एजुकेशन और रिसर्च के लिए 500 करोड़ आवंटित किए गए हैं। भारत एआई की क्षमताओं को विकसित करने के लिए नेशनल लार्ज लैंग्वेज मॉडल की स्थापना भी करेगा। इस दिशा में हमारे प्राइवेट सेक्टर को भी दुनिया से एक कदम आगे रहने की जरूरत है। एक रिलायबल, सेफ और डेमोक्रेटिक देश जो एआई में इकोनॉमिकल सॉल्यूशन दे सके, विश्व को उसका इंतजार है। आप इस सेक्टर में अभी जितना इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, भविष्य में उतना ही एडवांटेज आपको मिलेगा। साथियों, भारत अब दुनिया का तीसरा सबसे बड़ा स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम है। स्टार्टअप्स को बढ़ावा देने के लिए सरकार ने इस बजट में कई कदम उठाए हैं। रिसर्च और इनोवेशन को बढ़ाने के लिए 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए का कॉर्पस फंड पास किया गया है। इसमें डीप टेक फंड ऑफ फंड्स के साथ उभरते सेक्टर्स में निवेश बढ़ेगा। आईआईटी और आईआईएससी में 10,000 रिसर्च फेलोशिप की व्यवस्था बनाई गई है। इससे रिसर्च को बढ़ावा मिलेगा, प्रतिभाशाली युवाओं को मौका मिलेगा। नेशनल जियो स्पेशियल मिशन और अनुसंधान नेशनल रिसर्च फाउंडेशन के माध्यम से इनोवेशन को गति मिलेगी। भारत को रिसर्च और इनोवेशन के क्षेत्र में नई ऊंचाई पर पहुंचाने के लिए हमें हर स्तर पर मिलकर काम करना होगा। साथियों, ज्ञान भारतम मिशन, और मैं आशा करता हूं इस सब में आप सब आगे आए। ज्ञान भारतम मिशन के माध्यम से भारत की समृद्ध मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स हेरिटेज को संरक्षित करने की घोषणा बहुत ही अहम है। इस मिशन के माध्यम से 1 करोड़ से अधिक मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट पांडुलिपियों को डिजिटल फॉर्म में बदला जाएगा, जिसके बाद एक नेशनल डिजिटल रिपोजिटरी बनाई जाएगी, जिससे दुनिया भर के स्कॉलर्स और रिसर्चर्स भारत के हिस्टोरिकल और ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज और विजडम को जान सकेंगे। सरकार द्वारा भारत के प्लांट जेनेटिक रिसोर्सेज को संरक्षित करने के लिए नेशनल जीन बैंक की स्थापना की जा रही है। हमारी इस पहल का उद्देश्य आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए जेनेटिक रिसोर्सेज और खाद्य सुरक्षा को सुनिश्चित करना है। हमें इस तरह के प्रयासों का दायरा बढ़ाना होगा। हमारे अलग अलग इंस्टीट्यूट्स और सेक्टर्स को इन प्रयासों में भागीदार बनाना चाहिए। साथियों, फरवरी में ही भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था को लेकर आईएमएफ के शानदार ऑब्जर्वेशंस भी हम सबके सामने हैं। इस रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक 2015 से 2025 के बीच, 2015 से 2025 के बीच, इन 10 वर्षों में भारत की इकोनॉमी ने 66% की, यानी 66% की ग्रोथ दर्ज की है। भारत अब $3.8 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी बन गया है। ये ग्रोथ कई बड़ी इकोनॉमीज से भी ज्यादा है। वो दिन दूर नहीं जब भारत $5 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी बनेगा। हमें सही दिशा में सही निवेश करते हुए आगे बढ़ना है। अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था का इसी तरह विस्तार करना है और इसमें बजट घोषणाओं के इंप्लीमेंटेशन की भी बड़ी भूमिका है। आप सभी की अहम भूमिका है। आप सभी को मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि पिछले कुछ वर्षों से बजट घोषित कर करके आप अपना कर लो, हम हमारा कर ले, वो परंपरा हमने तोड़ दी। बजट बनाते से पहले भी आपके साथ बैठते हैं, बजट बनने के बाद भी, घोषित करने के बाद भी जो चीजें सामने आती हैं उसको इंप्लीमेंट करने के लिए भी हम आपके साथ बैठते हैं। शायद जन भागीदारी का ये मॉडल बहुत रेयर होता है और मुझे खुशी है कि लगातार प्रतिवर्ष इस एक मंथन के कार्यक्रम को बल भी मिल रहा है, उत्साह से लोग भी जुड़ रहे हैं और हर एक को लगता है कि बजट के पूर्व जितनी बातें हम करते हैं उससे ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण बातें बजट के बाद इंप्लीमेंटेशन में उपयोगी होती है। मुझे विश्वास है हम सबका ये सामूहिक मंथन हमारे सपनों को, 140 करोड़ देशवासियों के सपनों को पूर्ण करने में बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले करेंगे। मेरी आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। धन्यवाद।
अभी से सर 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock.
We have about 7 minutes break.
Yes.
7 मिनट अपना ब्रेक और सेशन शुरू।
This meeting is no longer being recorded.